Every night I hope this was a mistake. And I sit here and I just wish it was a mistake.
A young Staten Island man is arrested in connection with her murder.
You're watching NBC for New York. This is News for New York.
The ex-boyfriend of a Staten Island teenager whose body was found in a shallow grave is headed to New Jersey tonight to face charges in connection with her murder. Diana Rossini has the story.
A handcuffed Thomas Paolino walked out of criminal court this morning, charged with desecration of human remains in the killing of his former girlfriend, Jessica Tush. His lawyer says he has no involvement.
It makes no sense to delay matters here in New York. We're anxious to get him over to New Jersey because, quite frankly, we're confident he is absolutely innocent, and we need to fight these charges.
Last night at Jessica's home, her parents told News 4 New York the two had been dating for 8 months but had just broken up recently.
When he was in our house, he was always polite, but you don't know if somebody's polite or not or what things are really like. I can't answer that.
It was a heartbreaking discovery Thursday. Jessica's body was found in a shallow grave in Burlington County, New Jersey. Sources say she may have been strangled.
I just want him to get what he deserves for taken away from us. I want him to feel the pain that we're going to feel every day of our lives because my baby's gone. But she was a good girl.
Jessica was last seen Wednesday afternoon when she left her job at the Staten Island Mall. She was supposed to get a ride with a girlfriend to go to her friend's wake at the Bedell Pizzo funeral home, but she never made it there. Her former boyfriend is now headed to New Jersey to face charges. This afternoon, a friend of the family answered the door here at the Tush's family's home in Staten Island. She tells me the parents are in South Jersey right now, where their daughter's body was discovered. Funeral arrangements haven't been worked out yet. In Staten Island, Diana Rossini, News 4 New York.
An island teen now faces murder charges in connection with his ex-girlfriend's death. Authorities in New Jersey upgraded the charges against 19-year-old Thomas Paolino Monday. He previously faced a charge of desecration of human remains. Police believe Paolino strangled 19-year-old Jessica Tush and left her in a shallow grave in Burlington County, New Jersey. Friends and families gathered at an Eltingville funeral home Monday to pay their respects to the 19-year-old who was last seen leaving her job at the Staten Island Mall last Wednesday.
It's still, every night I hope this was a mistake. And I sit here and I just wish it was a mistake.
She was such a nice girl, and she was very loved by everyone. She never judged anyone, and I just feel she does not deserve what she got.
Paolino is being held in jail on $1 million bail. He is scheduled to be in court today. Also, wake services for Jessica Tush continue today at the Scalia Funeral Home in Eltingville from 2 to 5 p.m. and from 7 to 9 p.m. Her funeral is set for tomorrow.
New details tonight in the murder of a teenage girl from Staten Island. The victim's ex-boyfriend appeared in a New Jersey courtroom to face murder charges. Paisy Cheng is here with details. Paisy?
Linda, 19-year-old Thomas Paolino answered to a judge today in the disappearance and murder of his former girlfriend. This was all done through closed-circuit camera. Paolino was in his orange jumpsuit from the Burlington County Jail. He faces 2 charges, first-degree murder and desecration of human remains. Prosecutors asked that bail be set at $1 million, while Paolino's attorney tried to talk it down to $750,000, but to no avail. Paolino is accused of murdering his former girlfriend, 19-year-old Jessica Tush. He's accused of killing her just days after they broke up. Sources say that Paolino picked Tush up last Wednesday afternoon from her job at the Staten Island Mall, and instead of bringing her to a friend's funeral on Staten Island, he convinced her to go with him to the actual site where their friend died to visit the roadside memorial, which is in South Jersey. That is where police found Tush's body in a shallow grave with bruises and scratches on her face. Sources say that when Paolino was picked up by police for questioning, he also had bites on his neck and bruises on his body, evidence to police that she had struggled with him before her death. Today, friends and family of Jessica Tush did gather at a Staten Island funeral home for Tush's wake. The funeral director said that hundreds of people have already come to pay their respects. Now, bail is set at $1 million. If Paolino's family can get him out of jail, he will be required to make a weekly phone call from his parents' home phone to jail officials. That's the latest from the newsroom. Paisy Cheng, News 4, New York.
19-year-old Thomas Paolino appeared by video from jail for a hearing in Burlington County Superior Court. He's charged with murder and desecration of human remains. Bail was set at $1 million. His case will go before a grand jury. Meanwhile, the funeral for Jessica Tush will be held tomorrow. She was found dead in a shallow grave in the Pine Barrens last week. Investigators believe she was strangled.
As family and friends of a Staten Island teenager grieve her sudden loss, new details are emerging about her murder. Paisley Cheng is live in the Eltingville section of Staten Island with more on this. Paisley.
And Chuck, over the past 2 days, the funeral director says there have been over 1,000 visitors here to pay their respects to Jessica Tush. Friends describe her as a loving, generous person who didn't deserve to die this soon. Mourners waited in line to pay their respects to 19-year-old Jessica Tush. The teen was found murdered and buried in a shallow grave in a New Jersey state park last Thursday.
She was a beautiful person. She was very giving.
Police say she died at the hands of her former boyfriend, Thomas Paulino, also 19. Through a closed-circuit camera, a judge formally read Paulino the charges he faces, including first-degree murder and desecration of human remains.
We entered a plea of not guilty today, and we are very, very confident that Thomas is innocent.
While his attorney maintains his innocence, police sources tell a different story. They say Paulino picked Tush up from her job at the Staten Island Mall on Wednesday, and instead of driving to their friend's wake, he convinced her to visit the actual site in South Jersey where their friend had died in a car accident. There, sources say Paulino strangled Tush and that the bruises and scratches on her face and the bite marks and bruises on Paulino show there was a violent struggle. Afterwards, sources say Paulino sent a text message from Tush's phone saying she was being followed by a black man in an attempt to steer attention away from himself.
Still trying to figure out why he would do something like that.
The Paulinos held on to each other for support during their son's court hearing and declined to speak to reporters. Paulino is currently being held on $1 million bail in Burlington County, and his case must still need to go to the grand jury, but prosecutors say that could take months. Live from Eltingville tonight, Paisley Cheng, News 4.
Somber day on Staten Island as friends and family members remembered the 19-year-old allegedly murdered by her ex-boyfriend. Mourners filled St. Clair Church in Great Kills to pay their respects to Jessica Tush. Jessica vanished from her job at the mall 2 days after breaking up with her boyfriend, Thomas Paulino. Paulino is now accused of killing Tush and burying her in a shallow grave in New Jersey. He's being held on $1 million bail.